You've tried so much already. The vision boards, the affirmations, the late-night meditations whispered with hope into the silence. You've studied the teachings, repeated the mantras, written your desires down 100 times, and still, it feels as if something invisible stands between you and the life you're reaching for. That invisible wall is not failure. It is not proof that you are broken or incapable. It is only a sign that the signal you are sending into the world is not yet aligned with the one you are asking to receive. The truth is simple. You don't manifest from thought alone. You manifest from the state your body and nervous system are broadcasting every single moment of every single day, and that broadcast is carried on the most overlooked rhythm in your life, your breath. Think of it. When you are anxious, your breath is shallow. When you are afraid, you hold it in. When you are stressed, you push it fast and jagged. Each of these signals tells the field around you that you are not safe, not ready, not available to receive, and the universe listens, not to your words, but to the current flowing through your body. Nobody told you this, did they? That the inhale you ignore and the exhale you rush are actually shaping the outcomes you keep chasing. That the way you breathe is the hidden language between your inner world and the quantum field. Breath is not just air. It is spirit. It is the subtle bridge between the unseen and the seen, the metaphysical and the physical, the soul and the flesh. And the moment you begin to breathe correctly, not forcefully, not mechanically, but consciously, you begin to reprogram your entire vibration. You regulate your nervous system. You soften the armor of survival. You open the door for coherence, and coherence is the true magnet of manifestation. This journey we're about to take together is not about learning to breathe like anyone else. It's about remembering how your body was designed to breathe when it felt safe, loved, and connected. The breath you are about to reclaim is the one that whispers to the quantum field, I am ready. I am aligned. I am already home. Most people don't realize they've been breathing wrong their entire lives. Not because they're careless, but because their bodies adapted to stress long before they were old enough to notice. The invisible pattern of shallow chest breathing, quick inhales, and tight exhalations is not a personal flaw. It is the survival code your nervous system wrote into you when the world felt unsafe. Think back for a moment. A time when you were nervous before speaking, when your chest tightened and your breath grew small. Or the moment someone you loved walked away and you caught your breath in your throat, holding it as if stillness could stop the pain. These patterns, repeated thousands of times, became habits, and habits became identity. You started living as the one who holds, the one who rushes, the one who never fully exhales. But here's the truth. The way you breathe is the way you live. If your breath is shallow, your life feels shallow. If your breath is rushed, your days feel rushed. If your breath is held back, your joy feels held back too. You don't need to analyze every trauma or dissect every memory to see this. You can simply notice how you're breathing right now. Is it generous or is it stingy? Is it open or is it closed? This invisible rhythm is what your body broadcasts to the quantum field. You may say affirmations of abundance, but if your breath is tight, the signal underneath says, I am not safe. You may visualize love, but if you're holding your breath, the message transmitted is, I expect abandonment. The universe listens less to your words and more to the energy your breath is carrying. Why is this so often missed? Because the ego loves complexity. The mind says, give me a 10-step formula, give me effort, give me work. But the soul whispers, slow down, breathe, align. The ego fears simplicity because simplicity means surrender, and surrender feels unsafe to a body wired for control. Yet manifestation is not control. It is coherence, and coherence is born from breath. Let's look at it scientifically for a moment. When your breath is shallow and fast, your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response, stays activated. Cortisol rises, muscles tighten, your body tells the field, danger, Danger. And what does danger manifest? More situations that confirm danger. But when you lengthen the inhale, soften the exhale, and let the diaphragm expand, you flip the switch. Your parasympathetic nervous system awakens. Safety codes broadcast through your body. Your heart rate lowers, your brain waves settle, and suddenly your entire field says, I am safe. I am open. I am available. Here is the invisible pattern revealed. Most of us spend our days in survival breath, yet we expect to manifest from creation breath. Survival breath says, protect. Creation breath says, receive. Survival breath clings to the past. Creation breath opens to the future. And you cannot live in both frequencies at once. So the question becomes, how are you breathing? Not just when you're meditating, but when you're scrolling your phone, when you're waiting in traffic, when you're lying awake at night. Every inhale and exhale is a vote cast into the field. Every shallow breath is a reminder to the universe that you are surviving, not thriving. Every conscious breath is a declaration that you are ready to align with something greater. Awareness is the first step. From here, everything begins to change. Because once you see the pattern, you can no longer pretend it isn't. It's there. You can no longer believe your breath is automatic, disconnected, meaningless. Instead, you begin to sense its power. The subtle, sacred power that has been shaping your reality all along. And that realization is where transformation begins. Not with force, not with trying harder, but with the humble, radical act of remembering that your breath is the mirror of your life. Change your breath, and the pattern shifts. Shift the pattern, and reality has no choice but to follow. There is a bridge between the world you see with your eyes and the unseen field of infinite potential that surrounds you. A bridge between flesh and spirit, thought and matter, the known and the possible. That bridge is not philosophy. It is not theory. It is the breath moving through your body right now. Breath is the only system in your body that is both automatic and voluntary. Your heart beats on its own. Your digestion works without conscious effort. But breath is different. You can ignore it and it will keep you alive. Yet the moment you bring awareness to it, you can change it. You can deepen it. You can slow it. You can turn it into a conscious tool. This duality makes breath the doorway between unconscious patterns and conscious creation. When you inhale, oxygen feeds every cell, but something else happens too. Energy flows into your system. Ancient traditions called it prana, chi, or spirit. Science now maps it as electrical activity, heart rate variability, and nervous system regulation. The language changes, but the truth remains. Breath is the carrier of life force, and this life force is the signal you are constantly transmitting into the quantum field. Imagine your breath as waves moving across a still lake. If the waves are chaotic, the reflection is distorted. If the waves are calm and coherent, the reflection is clear. The quantum field works the same way. It reflects not your surface wishes, but the deeper vibration beneath them. And that vibration is carried, moment by moment, on the rhythm of your breath. Think about how you feel when you're angry. Fast, sharp inhales, quick exhales, chest heaving. That breath tells the field, I am in conflict. The field doesn't judge. It simply mirrors. So more conflict arises. When you are in love, your breath is slower, softer, almost musical. That breath tells the field, I am in harmony, and the field responds in kind. Science, too, affirms this mystery. Studies in heart coherence show that when breath falls into a steady rhythm, the heart's electromagnetic field expands and synchronizes. That field extends several feet beyond your body, interacting with the environment and with others around you. This is not metaphor. It is measurable. When you breathe in harmony, you radiate harmony. And the quantum field, being responsive, bends toward that coherence. This is why affirmations spoken from a dysregulated body often fail. You can say, "I am abundant," 100 times, but if your breath is shallow and your nervous system is braced in scarcity, the signal doesn't match the words. The field listens not to the noise of the mind, but to the song of the body, and breath is the conductor of that song. Here lies the great reframe. Manifestation is not about convincing the universe. It is about tuning yourself. Just as a musician tunes their instrument before they play, you tune your field before life responds. Breath is your tuning fork. It brings body and mind into resonance. It aligns intention with vibration. It makes you magnetic not by force, but by coherence. Consider this. Each inhale is a receiving. Each exhale is a releasing. Every breath cycle is a microcosm of manifestation. You take in possibility. You let go of what no longer serves. The quantum field dances with this rhythm. It opens when you open. It contracts when you contract. Breath is the language of exchange between you and the infinite. What does this mean for your life? It means that every moment, without stepping outside your room, without buying a course or chasing a ritual, you already have the key. The breath you are taking right now is your direct access point to the field. No one can give it to you, and no one can take it away. It is your bridge, always present, always waiting. The question is not whether the bridge exists. The question is, are you crossing it? Are you using your breath to return to survival over and over, or to step into creation? Most people breathe unconsciously, and so they manifest unconsciously. But the awakened seeker learns to breathe consciously, and in doing so, begins to manifest consciously. This is not complicated. That's why so many miss it. The mind searches for complexity, but the soul whispers, "It's here, it's simple, it's in your breath." So as we move forward, I invite you to consider your breath not as background noise, but as your most powerful tool. With each inhale, you invite alignment. With each exhale, you release resistance. Breath is not just what keeps you alive. Breath is what connects you to the infinite life waiting to unfold through you. Before we can fully reclaim the power of the breath, we need to understand why it was lost in the first place. Why is it that something so natural, something we were born knowing how to do, now feels restricted, shallow, or even uncomfortable when we try to deepen it? The answer is not weakness. The answer is trauma. Trauma is not just the obvious wounds, the accidents, the heartbreaks, the betrayals. Trauma also hides in the subtle moments, the sharp tone from a parent when you were young, the feeling of being unseen in a crowded room, the way the world seemed too loud, too fast, too unsafe. Trauma is not only what happened to you. Trauma is also what your body decided to do in order to survive what happened to you. One of the first places body adapts is in the breath. Imagine a child who feels unsafe in their home. They learn to shrink their breath so they won't be noticed, holding themselves small. Imagine someone who was silenced when they tried to speak. Their chest tightens, the diaphragm stiffens, the exhale shortens. Over time, these adjustments become habits. Habits harden into patterns, and patterns become the invisible walls inside the body, blocking the free flow of oxygen, and with it, the free flow of life. Oxygen is more than air. It is the currency of vitality. Every cell depends on it. When trauma restricts the breath, oxygen levels drop, and the body learns to survive on less than it truly needs. This less becomes normal. But normal is not the same as optimal. A body trained to survive on shallow breaths is a body wired for scarcity, not abundance. It's like trying to live your fullest life while only sipping from a straw. Always half fed, half lit, half alive. Science shows us that chronic stress and trauma reshape the nervous system. They keep the sympathetic fight-or-flight response switched on, even when no danger is present. Shallow breathing is both the signal and the symptom of this state. You breathe quickly because the body thinks it must run, hide, or fight. Yet in that very breath pattern, you keep telling the field, I am not safe. I am not open. I must defend. And life echoes back situations that mirror that message. This is why affirmations often fail for the traumatized body. Not because the words are wrong, but because the body does not believe them. You can say, I am worthy, but if your chest is locked and your diaphragm is braced, the body's truth is, I am on guard. The field responds to the body's truth, not the mind's wish. But here is the miracle. The very place trauma hid, the breath, is also the place where healing begins. When you slowly reintroduce safety into the body through conscious breathing, you signal to the nervous system that it no longer needs to brace. With every slow inhale you whisper, it is safe to receive. With every long exhale you remind, it is safe to let go. Breath unwinds the knots that trauma tied. This is not instant. The body does not unlearn decades of survival overnight. In fact, sometimes when you first try to breathe deeply, old emotions rise. Tears, tension, memories. That is not failure. That is release. Trauma that was stored in the tissues is finally being given a doorway out. The breath is the key that unlocks it. And as oxygen begins to flow more freely, something extraordinary happens. Cells that have been underfed begin to wake up. Energy that was trapped in the past becomes available for the present. You feel more alive because you literally are more alive. You are feeding the body with what it was starved of, not just air, but freedom. On the quantum level, this is profound. Every block in the body is also a block in the field. Every restriction in breath is a restriction in possibility. When you soften those blocks through breath, you don't just heal the body. You open new timelines of reality. You shift from surviving the old story to creating a new one. So if you've struggled with manifestation, do not shame yourself. Do not believe the lie that you weren't visualizing hard enough or that your intentions weren't clear enough. The truth is simpler. Your body was protecting you. It limited your breath because, at one time, that limitation kept you safe. But what once protected you is now preventing you, and breath is the gentle way through. Every inhale becomes an invitation. Will you let yourself receive? Every exhale becomes a release. Will you let yourself let go? The choice is yours, moment by moment, breath by breath. Trauma blocked the door, but breath is the bridge that carries you back into freedom. If trauma blocks the flow of oxygen, though, and coherence is what restores it. And coherence is not just a poetic idea, it is a measurable state of harmony within your nervous system, your breath, and your electromagnetic field. To be coherent means your body, your heart, and your mind are no longer pulling in opposite directions. Instead, they are synchronized, aligned, whole. Most people live fragmented lives. Their breath is shallow, their thoughts are scattered, their emotions are split between fear and hope. This fragmentation creates noise in their signal. Imagine trying to tune into a radio station, but static drowns out the song. That is what incoherence feels like. You may have the vision, the affirmation, the desire, but the frequency is fuzzy. The field cannot lock on to what you are broadcasting because the signal keeps cutting in and out. Now imagine coherence. Your breath slows into rhythm, your heart rate steadies, your mind grows quiet, like a lake without ripples. The static disappears. The frequency becomes clear. In that clarity, the field receives your message in full strength. No distortion, no contradiction, just the pure signal of who you are becoming. Science calls this heart rate variability coherence. When your breath and your heartbeat enter a synchronized rhythm, the nervous system shifts into parasympathetic dominance, the state of restoration, openness, and safety. In this state, the body is no longer bracing against life, it is inviting life in. The heart emits a stronger, steadier electromagnetic field. That field interacts with the quantum, not as a fractured plea, but as a resonant declaration. Here's the profound truth. Coherence is the true creative frequency. The universe does not respond to your words, it responds to your state. You can say, I am abundant, but if your nervous system is in panic, the signal is, I am unsafe. Yet when you breathe slowly, when you feel safety in your cells, your state becomes the message. And the message says, I already am. Think about this in terms of relationships. Have you ever been around someone who said all the right words, but you could feel something was off? They said they were fine, but their energy said otherwise. The quantum field is no different. It feels your energy more than it hears your words. Coherence is when your words, your emotions, and your body all speak the same language. That alignment makes you magnetic. But coherence is not achieved through control. You cannot force yourself into alignment by demanding calmness or commanding peace. Coherence is a surrender into rhythm. It is the act of letting the body remember what it has always known, that safety is found in presence, not in control. Try this. Inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 6. Do it again. Notice how your system begins to settle. The longer exhale tells your nervous system, you are safe. Your heart rate begins to follow. Your mind softens. Without needing to analyze or fix, you are shifting state. This is coherence in action. Simple, accessible, powerful. From coherence, quantum alignment becomes possible. Alignment means that your inner state matches the frequency of the reality you wish to live. If you want love, alignment means embodying openness, vulnerability, and warmth now. Not later, not when someone arrives, but now. If you want abundance, alignment means embodying sufficiency, generosity, and gratitude now. Breath brings you into coherence. Coherence allows you to access alignment. Alignment shapes the field around you. Notice how the sequence flows. Trauma blocks. Breath opens. Coherence stabilizes. Alignment activates. This is the hidden architecture of manifestation. It is not wishful thinking. It is energetic engineering. And the beauty is this. Coherence is contagious. When you enter coherence, others feel it. Your presence becomes soothing, magnetic, grounding. People cannot always explain why, but they feel safer around you. Opportunities begin to flow more easily. Synchronicity. Ties increase. The field reorganizes itself around your coherence. But here is the paradox. You do not chase coherence to get the result. You rest in coherence because it is the result. The external manifestations are a reflection, not a reward. They are the echo of your state. So the real practice is not, how can I get the thing, but how can I breathe myself back into coherence right now? This is where quantum alignment stops being abstract and becomes embodied. Every inhale draws you into the present. Every exhale roots you deeper in safety. From that place, you begin to feel into the version of yourself who already has what you desire. Not imagining as if it's far away, but embodying as if it is here now. And as you hold that state, not as effort, but as being, the field has no choice but to respond. Coherence is the bridge between survival and creation. It is the shift from static to signal, from noise to music. The more often you enter this state, the more your baseline shifts. Stress may still come, but you return to coherence faster. Fear may still whisper, but it no longer controls your breath. You have a new home frequency, and that frequency is the language the universe speaks fluently. So the question is simple, though not always easy. Will you choose to keep living in fragmentation, or will you practice coherence? The doorway is always your breath. The path is always now. And the reward is not just what you manifest, but the peace you embody along the way. Stories are how the nervous system learns. We may understand ideas through theory, but we embody truth when we witness it lived out in another human being. That is why transformation is rarely taught only through concepts. It is remembered through story. Let me share with you 3 glimpses. Stories that mirror what happens when breath and coherence shift a life. The first is of a woman named Alina. For years, she practiced every manifestation technique she could find. Affirmations taped to mirrors, scripting journals, vision boards filled with luxury homes and soulmates. But no matter what she did, her life stayed in cycles of scarcity and heartbreak. She would chant, "I am loved," yet her chest was tight, her breath shallow. One day, during a simple breath session, she felt something break open. Tears poured out as she exhaled longer than she ever had before. She realized she had been holding her breath since childhood, bracing for abandonment. That day, she didn't try to manifest love. She simply allowed herself to breathe in safety. Within months, her relationships shifted. She wasn't chasing, she was attracting. Not because she had found a new affirmation, but because she had become coherent. Then there was Daniel, a high-achieving entrepreneur who burned himself out chasing success. His nervous system was constantly in fight or flight, fueled by caffeine and deadlines. He told himself he was manifesting abundance, but the truth was, he was running from emptiness. In a retreat, he learned coherent breathing. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. At first, he dismissed it as too simple, but as he practiced, he noticed something radical. His anxiety decreased, his sleep improved, his decisions became clearer. From that regulated state, he made different choices. He launched projects not from desperation, but from inspiration. And the synchronicities multiplied. Clients began finding him. Opportunities came without force. He laughed one day and said, "Abundance was waiting for me the moment I slowed down enough to receive it." And finally, there was May, who battled chronic illness for years. She felt trapped in her body, betrayed by fatigue and pain. Traditional manifestation teachings only deepened her shame, as if she were failing because she couldn't think positively enough. But through breath and nervous system coherence, she discovered something different. Instead of trying to heal by force, she began to rest in her body, to honor each breath as a signal of life. Her body softened, her pain reduced. She began painting again, something she thought she had lost forever. She didn't manifest health in the way social media promised. Instead, she manifested presence, creativity, and joy, and her health followed. What do these stories share? They show us that transformation isn't about getting something out there. It's about remembering something in here. It's not that the vision board is wrong, it's that the board is powerless without coherence behind it. The breath, the body, the nervous system, these are the true levers of reality. Notice also how each story carries a pattern: effort, frustration, collapse, surrender, coherence, alignment, and then flow. The miracle isn't in skipping the collapse. It's in meeting it with breath, instead of fear. And maybe you see yourself in one of these people. Maybe you've tried and tried, only to feel blocked. Maybe you've chased success and felt emptier at the peak. Maybe your body feels heavy, or your heart feels guarded. If so, their story is also your invitation. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply waiting for coherence. This is the power of embodiment. When one person shifts, their entire field changes, and the field of those around them changes too. Transformation ripples outward. When Alina began breathing freely, her relationships healed. When Daniel slowed down, his business flourished. When May softened into presence, her art returned. The field reorganized itself around their state. Your story, too, is waiting. Not the story of how you forced life into compliance, but the story of how you breathed into coherence and let life reorganize around you. The field is listening. The question is not whether manifestation works, but whether your nervous system is broadcasting the signal of survival or the signal of creation. And with each breath, you have the power to choose. Every breath you take is not just oxygen moving in and out. It is an identity declaration. It is your body saying, "This is who I am in this moment." And here is the truth most people overlook. You are not manifesting what you want. You are manifesting who you are being. Pause here. Let that land. Think of it this way. If you are being the person who is always waiting, hoping, and chasing, then the universe mirrors back more waiting, more hoping, more chasing. But if you are being the person who already knows, already feels, already embodies the state of what you desire, the universe reflects that coherence. Reality bends around your identity, not your wish list. So the question becomes, who are you being right now? Not in theory, not in aspiration, but in this breath, in this moment. Are you being the version of you who is still grasping, or the version of you who is already receiving? The quantum field doesn't care about your someday. It only responds to your now. And your now is revealed not in your affirmations, but in your embodiment. In the way your shoulders rest, in the way your breath flows, in the way your nervous system settles or resists. Imagine standing at a crossroads. To one side is the old self, the one who hustles, who doubts, who tries to control everything. To the other side is the self who trusts, who breathes, who remembers that they are the field. Both identities exist. Both are possible. With each breath, you step toward one or the other. Here is a powerful question to carry with you. What does the version of me who already has this feel like? Not think, feel. Because your nervous system cannot be tricked by words, but it responds instantly to felt states. If the version of you who already has love feels safe, open, and warm, then your work is not to chase love, but to breathe into safety, openness, and warmth right now. If the version of you who already has abundance feels secure, generous, and grateful, then your practice is not to demand money, but to embody security, generosity, and gratitude right now. This is the quantum shortcut, becoming the frequency first. But notice, this isn't about pretending. It's not about bypassing pain or ignoring trauma. If your body feels unsafe, pretending you are abundant only deepens the fracture. Instead, this is about gently guiding yourself into coherence, and then asking, from this regulated state, what would my future self choose? How would they breathe? How would they speak? How would they walk into the room? Identity is not an abstract idea. It is lived through the body, through tone, through posture, through micro choices. You cannot fake being. You can only embody it. So, breathe into this moment. Place a hand on your heart if you can. Ask yourself quietly, who am I being right now? And is it the self I want the field to mirror back to me? Sometimes, the answer will be no. And that's okay. Awareness itself is the portal. Each time you notice, you get to shift. You get to take one deeper breath, relax one muscle, soften one thought, and step closer to alignment. Who you are being is not about perfection. It is about practice, about repetition, about living in the identity of the one who already is, not someday, but now. And this is the paradox. The moment you stop trying so hard to become and instead breathe into being, everything accelerates. The opportunities, the synchronicities, the people, they align not because you force them, but because you finally match them. So let me ask again, who are you being now? Are you the seeker or the embodiment? The chaser or the receiver? The fragmented or the coherent? Every breath is your answer, and every answer becomes your reality. The future you desire is not waiting out there. It is waiting in here, in the way you choose to breathe, to feel, to embody this very moment. The question is not whether the universe is ready. The question is, are you being the version of you already belongs to that reality? And if not yet, then let this breath be the first step. Every great shift is not born in a single revelation, but in the quiet repetition of daily states. Manifestation is not about the one meditation you do on a mountaintop or the one retreat that opened your heart. It is about what you practice in the ordinary spaces of your life. In the way you wake, the way you breathe, the way you meet a stressful email, the way you close your eyes before sleep. These daily states write the code of your reality. Your subconscious mind is not programmed by what you occasionally think. It is programmed by what you continually embody. So the question becomes, how do you reprogram your daily state to match the frequency of the life you desire? The first doorway is breath. Begin with something deceptively simple. Inhale for 4, exhale for 6. Do this for 2 minutes each morning before you touch your phone. This single act tells your nervous system, I am safe. Safety is the foundation of all manifestation, because without it, every desire is filtered through fear. The second doorway is posture. How you carry your body is not just physical, it is an identity cue. If your shoulders are hunched, your chest collapsed, your gaze downward, you are embodying defeat, even if your words say otherwise. Instead, roll your shoulders back, lift your chest, and soften your jaw. Stand and sit as the version of you who already belongs in the life you envision. The subconscious reads this posture as truth. The field receives it as frequency. The third doorway is language. Not just affirmations, but the casual words you whisper throughout the day. Do you say, I can't afford that? Or do you say, I am choosing where my energy flows? Do you say, I'm always unlucky? Or, life is aligning me in unseen ways? Your words are not magic spells by themselves, but they enforce state, and state reinforces frequency. The fourth doorway is micro-pauses. Instead of reacting to life in survival mode, pause for one conscious breath before responding. This interrupts old patterns and allows your identity to choose, not your fear. Imagine the difference between snapping back in anger versus pausing, breathing, and speaking from coherence. Each pause is a small reprogramming of your timeline. The fifth doorway is gratitude, not forced or fake, but embodied. Gratitude is not a checklist, it is a nervous system state. You cannot trick yourself into gratitude by listing things you don't feel. Instead, choose one thing each day that genuinely warms your chest. Hold it with breath. Let it expand in your body. This is the gratitude that shifts frequency, because it is real, not rehearsed. These are not grand rituals. They are micro-practices that weave a coherent state into your everyday life. And when practiced consistently, they rewire your subconscious identity. Breath tells your body you are safe. Posture tells your subconscious you are powerful. Language tells your mind you are aligned. Pauses tell your nervous system you are free. Gratitude tells your field you are abundant. Together, these weave a new daily baseline. And here is the beauty. You don't need hours, you don't need perfection. You need consistency. 2 minutes of coherent breath, a shift in posture, one pause before reacting, one felt moment of gratitude. Done daily, they compound. Over weeks, they become your natural state. And when your natural state shifts, your reality cannot help but mirror it. So, ask yourself, what state are you rehearsing daily? Because whether you mean to or not, you are always practicing something. You are either practicing fear or safety, contraction or openness, scarcity or sufficiency. Reprogramming is simply the act of choosing what you rehearse. Your life is not shaped by what you occasionally want. It is shaped by who you repeatedly are. And the good news is, with every breath, every posture, every pause, every word, you can choose again. There is a quiet tension that haunts many seekers. It hides behind vision boards, behind perfectly crafted affirmations, behind the relentless effort to get it right. It is the tension of control. The hidden belief that if you can just think hard enough, plan carefully enough, visualize intensely enough, then life will finally bend to your will. But control is not alignment. Control is the nervous system whispering, I do not trust life. I must do everything myself. And when that is the signal you send, the field reflects it back. You may manifest pieces, scraps, glimpses of what you want, but it arrives strained, delayed, or fragile, because it was never born from trust. The paradox of manifestation is this: the more you try to control the outcome, the more you signal that you don't believe it is already yours. Think of a clenched fist, tight, grasping, unwilling to let go. It may hold on to something for a moment, but it cannot receive. The open palm, on the other hand, looks empty, yet it can catch the rain, hold a gift, cradle the unexpected. Surrender is the open palm. This does not mean passivity. Surrender is not giving up. It is not sitting on the couch waiting for miracles to appear. True surrender is showing up fully aligned, doing your part with presence, and then releasing the timeline, the form, the exact outcome. It is the willingness to say, I trust the intelligence that breathes me to also organize my reality. Why is control so seductive? Because the mind fears uncertainty. The nervous system, shaped by past wounds, believes safety is only found in predictability. If I can control everything, maybe I won't get hurt again. Maybe disappointment won't sneak in. Maybe I won't fail. But what if the very walls you build to keep out disappointment are the same walls blocking your greatest expansion? Look at nature. The tree does not control all the rain. The river does not control its curve. The bird does not control the wind. Yet each is supported, each thrives, each finds its way. Control is a human illusion born of fear. So how do you step out of the control trap? First, notice the tightness. Where do you feel it in your body when you are trying to force an outcome? The shallow breath, the clenched jaw, the racing mind. These are signs you are gripping. Next, pause, breathe, lengthen your exhale. Remind your body it is safe to soften. Then shift the question. Instead of asking, how can I make this happen? Ask, how can I become the version of me who naturally lives in this reality? The control trap wants to manipulate circumstances. Alignment wants to transform identity. And when identity shifts, circumstances rearrange without force. Imagine for a moment you are standing in a river. You can fight the current, splashing, straining, exhausting yourself, or you can learn to float, to trust that the water knows where it is going. Control exhausts. Trust carries. And trust is not blind. It is an intelligent partnership with the quantum field, with the deeper intelligence of life itself. So ask yourself now, am I gripping or receiving? Am I living from fear disguised as effort? Or am I resting in the quiet confidence that life and I are co-creating together? The choice is always there. Control or trust, force or flow, the clenched fist or the open palm,